We are fixing the nation one conversation at a time, and today we have brought the mic to the ground at KICC, where the Kenya Meat Expo is taking place. The 4th edition of the Kenya Meat Expo is here. It was unveiled yesterday. The Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture plus the Principal Secretary for Livestock were here, and very many stakeholders in the meat value chain. In fact, the theme for this year is what is driving sustainable growth across the meat value chain. What's the value chain for meat? I think we start with the ground.
Okay.
Okay.
The grass, yeah.
Yeah, the grass, the feeds, then you come the animals, all the way up to the eater.
The consumer, the eater.
The eater of the meat. Now, our country is largely ASO, all right? 80% of Kenya's landmass is covered by some 15 counties that have pastoralists. Now, these pastoralists are actually the producers of the meat in the meat value chain. There's an organization, an institution called the National Livestock Development and Promotion Service that's been there for a while, that's meant to support and promote livestock development. The CEO is here with us, Richard Kyuma. Good morning.
Good morning to you, Latif.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Sisi tumekuja hapa leo kukula nyama.
Asante sana, karibu.
This is what you've been dealing with on a daily basis.
Sure.
You deal, I know, because you deal with, livestock and livestock development, you don't necessarily look at, at everything at kula nyama. You're seeing the money side, you're seeing the support side,
right,
and all.
Yes.
But we'll get into that conversation. You'll explain to us what these services are and what you've been doing. But first, Janet is going to welcome you.
The quote.
Did you have the quote today?
I did have a quote, but we didn't go through it.
Tell us.
And I really wanted your take on it. Here's your chance. It's by Angela Davis. She's a renowned political activist and scholar. This one is interesting. She said, walls turned sideways are bridges.
Walls turned sideways
are bridges. Did you just do
Walls turned sideways.
It's a wall like this.
Sideways like this.
I think if you flip it like that, it's a bridge.
Sideways? Collapse a wall.
This was supposed to be such a deep moment.
No, it's not collapse a wall and then you get
rubble.
rubble.
Anyway, walls turn sideways.
Turn sideways.
No.
The whole idea is that
Richard,
it's...
Yes.
What do you think?
What do you
Walls
think?
turn sideways are bridges. No, it makes sense.
Yes.
I'm just thinking about visually. Wall turn sideways.
And I think it fits very well with what I deal with every day.
Uh-huh.
Because I'm always trying to change our challenges to opportunities, and that's how I'm seeing it. A wall which is preventing me from moving, I just convert it, it becomes a bridge. It becomes an opportunity.
You see the way he broke it down?
Yes.
No, it makes a lot of sense. It's just
He's actually explained what this quote means. Yes. She was talking about all the barriers, and she's like, sometimes you just need to push the wall down. It becomes a bridge. So you move past the pushback.
You need to do it?
Yes.
Huh?
You need to do it? To push the wall?
Sideways.
I said down. Sorry, let's continue.
Thank you.
As you were.
Thank you. Richard, but I like what you're saying. And every day this is what you deal with.
Yeah, sure.
You see obstacles. People see obstacles. Then when you look at it, you can see, how can I use this obstacle then to just become a bridge to move from one step to the other?
Exactly.
But first then tell us, because we are new to this country, we've not been here, what is the National Livestock Development and Promotion Services?
Thank you, Latif, and your colleagues from Nation TV. It's a very exciting opportunity for me to tell the country what we do. First is the National Livestock Development and Promotion Service is a state corporation. It's a state corporation domiciled in the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development. Our main objective, or our main mandate, is to enhance or promote livestock products and their marketability. And we have a deliberate bias toward making these livestock products, making sure they go to the markets and they fetch the appropriate prices and incomes to our livestock farmers. If you can allow me to go deeper a little bit, is that the livestock sector in Kenya can potentially be the leading economic activity in this country. Can potentially be. But currently we have not been able to achieve that space. That's why that's the wall now I'm supposed to turn
into
a bridge.
opportunities.
Yes. So now we are going in there to make sure that this abundance resource we have in this country, where if I can just give a small snapshot of about 22 million cattle, about 55 million sheep and goats, and that's just a segment of the whole livestock bit. If only we can make sure that that resource is converted into economic activity, economic use, apart from, as opposed to what we see today, much of it going to livelihood support.
Right.
If only we can tip it to become a serious economic activity, we would see livestock potentially becoming essentially becoming the leading economic activity for this country.
Which is what Eric alluded to, when he talked about prestige, but there's the other part which is about profit. I wanted to ask you, I know soon we'll talk about the advances, the opportunities, but this is the 4th edition of the Kenya Meat Expo. I want you to speak to one of the major barriers, whether it's a mindset barrier, whether it's a partnership and collaborations barrier, whether it's a regulations barrier, that is actually stopping meat from being what you want, what you desire it to be, which is one of the biggest industries. What would you speak to, and what do you keep seeing, even 4 editions into the Kenya Meat Expo, as a barrier that holds it back?
Thank you, Janet. Lucky enough, I've grown in the Meat Expo. Actually, I was among the first people who had our first panel discussion about the first edition of the Meat Expo. And we see Meat Expo as a huge opportunity for us to tell the country and the world this huge potential which has not been given the rightful attention. And the biggest wall we have to break here is deliberate investment in this area. We have talked about traditional aspects of it, but clearly a sector which is contributing 12% to the economy and which has an ability to doubling that within a very short time, it needs enhanced investments. And until we and this one, I mean, is not just pushing it to the government alone, it's both government and private. Unless we tweak that, we shall keep on accusing this tradition of not allowing us to make this sector move. But really, if you listen to our pastoralists keenly today, you see a transforming society which are really appreciating this can be a money-mending process, but the systems and the environments to make them achieve this are what is going very slow, really literally crawling. And these systems, for them to be fast-tracked, investment must be deliberate.
Okay. Cool. Investment must be deliberate. I think it's also a change in the mindset, like what you spoke of earlier, and thinking of livestock again as something that is productive and that can help you, make money, not just for prestige and subsistence and all of that. And I think of, like, if it's my grandmother, I'll go to Shags this Christmas. She tells me that goat has given birth. That one is yours. Give it a name. I give it a name. 2 Christmases later, we've eaten it. But it's not really given us anything.
Sure.
Right? Sure. How do we grow from that, from her herd of goat, sheep, cows, to something that is sustainable, especially when we've had how much of the country is ASAL? How much?
80%.
80% of the country is ASAL.
Yeah, sure. It all goes down to fashioning the sector or keeping the goat, the cow, as a business enterprise, as opposed to where the way your grandmother will tell you, I've given this kid of the goat. Just to give you some insight, our gala goat, which in Kenya literally it grows itself because it wakes in the morning, it goes to the field, gets the feed by itself, comes back in the evening, and that's the goat when it gives birth. Your grandmother gives you one of the kids. Literally, you see the level of investment there is too low, almost nothing. But we want to move it to the next step, where this animal is given the due attention, right from the kidding, that actually is about the breeding, to how it's fed, that's feed management, and how it's marketed. And when we are doing all this, we should be addressing the customer needs. What does this customer need in this goat? So that this whole process from breeding to feeding to marketing is addressing what that customer needs.
Right.
So when we do that, the customer is willing to give us the dollar we require for giving him or her the quality goat or the quality cow he is asking for. So the challenge here is for us to work with our pastorists who are occupying 80% of the country to make sure that they produce that goat, which somebody in Qatar, somebody in Dubai, somebody in Mauritius and elsewhere are asking, I need this goat, but I need it in this way, kept this way, handled this way, until it reaches my table looking this way. Yes.
And that is something that, and you'll come and explain to us what suitable goat should look like, and even a suitable cow should look like. I want to go back into the numbers, like you said. You said we have 22 million heads of cattle in Kenya.
Yes.
And 55 million goats and sheep in the country.
Correct.
Who counted? When?
Yeah, a good question. The latest comprehensive livestock census was done together with the human census. But we have always been agitating for a dedicated livestock census. But nevertheless, we have not been sitting down to wait for that census. Over time, there are scientific tools you can use to give a good estimation of what is available out there. And also equally, we have our field officers, both the county, largely the county officers, the county government officers, who have a fairly good outlook of what resource is out there. So a combination of all this gives us a fairly good estimate of what is available.
But Richard, this estimation, 2019 was the census, right? We had a drought for 4 years.
Yes.
A lot of our livestock was decimated by the drought.
Exactly.
Now we've been trying to restock our livestock. So still operating on that assumption, maybe that's wrong. Is there no other way of actually conducting a regular livestock census? Right. I remember 2 years ago when the government came and registered farmers. And now the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development has a database, claims to have a database of farmers. You don't have a database of animals that you can say as late as last year, when we actually went to look at our farmers, this is what we found. Because we're operating on very many moving parts here.
Right. Sorry to interrupt.
Yes, sorry.
I just had a light bulb moment. You know, during the 2019 census, a lot of questions were asked, and I was laughing, just oblivious. Ukona mbuzi. I'm like, haha, mbona mnauliza. Ukona boat. Haha, mbona niko na boat. And now the last year has shown me why they would need to ask if I own a boat, if I own livestock. Things are just coming together, and it's a nice thing. But yes, speak to the individual livestock audit, and and the database as he's talking about.
Yeah, a good way of looking at it. How are we maintaining up-to-date databases of our livestock? The key is, and it's not a Kenyan affair alone, internationally, and there are scientific tools to make sure you keep track of what resource base you have out there. And if I can come to what people know more better than livestock is the human population. There are countries who can tell you how much animals are coming to their country within a month because of refining these statistical methods and ways of getting this information from the fields. In Kenya, we are also growing into that space, where taking into account how much has been disseminated by droughts over these years, and how much is the birth rate of these animals, the kid you are given by your grandmother, how much of these are coming, and how much are we removing through the slaughterhouses and through the exports. Like I could just give a very interesting statistics that currently, if you have observed, you have been a keen observer, the price of a kilo of goat meat in our butcheries has increased from 600 to 900 within less than 2 years. That means we are extracting these animals more than we are charging to the market. It's because of this growing demand of this product. So whereas somebody might see it as a problem, as we are seeing it's an opportunity. Why can't we go and multiply these animals? Why can't we put effort on breeding these animals so that we, first of all, we bring the prices down in Kenya, but also this export market, which is forcing this price to go up, we satisfy it. And that's where we need the dollar. So there is well defined, and they keep on being refined, approximation methods of the quantity, of finding out which the quantities of the resources we have.
What do we have as our stock?
Yeah, sure.
So then the next one, how much of this is consumed locally? From the 22 million cows that we have in Kenya, how much do we consume per year? We can go into per year, per annum, and then you can also tell us per capita. How many kilos of meat does an average Kenyan eat per day?
That's a great question.
A good question, actually. I might not have the real figures, but I'll give you a scenario which might literally answer that question. Currently, all the cattle meat we are producing in the country, we are consuming everything.
Oh.
Yes.
We don't export
cattle meat.
We don't export beef?
I'm coming there. I'm coming there, my dear.
Okay.
Because literally, if we closed our borders with Tanzania, Somalia, Ethiopia, we become net importers of meat, beef meat. Again, don't see it as a challenge. And I've told you I liked
the quote.
Yes, I liked that.
Wall bridge.
Exactly. I see that as an opportunity for our unemployed youth, our women, to go in there and give us these animals. And for them to occupy that space, we must support them through investments.
Okay.
Yeah? So now, how much a Kenyan eats, one thing, meat is a delicacy, the nyama choma stuff. We have exported it all over the country. In fact, our PS was trying to impress upon Keproba to patent that name. Nyama choma, because we have exported all over the place. And the figures are there of capital consumption of meat. For now, I might not have them offered, but they are there. I can always provide them very shortly.
But it's a lot.
It's a lot. Basically, we eat a lot.
Let's go into a break. We'll come back and think through that. We have Dr. Richard Kyuma in our studio today, KICC, CEO, National Livestock Development and Promotion Services. I have so many questions about integration. He'll answer whether it's true that this is the first time livestock farmers from the ASL regions are participating or integrated in the Kenya Meat Expo. Who else has been locked out? And some of the other opportunities. You can talk to us on social media. Fixing the Nation, one conversation at a time, coming up to 7:30. We're back in a moment. Some comments. Jeremy Martin is saying it appears the stakes are high, and he's put the stake emoji.
The stakes are high.
Fixers. I'm glad to see you all fixing from one of the tallest buildings. Yes, we are live at KICC. Emmanuel Templar is asking, how many kgs of meat do Kenyans eat? Let's see if we can answer that. Bakari Sagna and Daktari will speak to this. Kenya exports more than 90% of raw animal hide produced in the country. There are plans to process or manufacture leather locally. We can speak to that. That's a good one.
Sure.
Just before the break, the question I'd asked was whether pastoralists from the ASL region have been integrated. They probably have. You can speak to that. But how have pastoralists been participating in the Kenya Meat Expo? What are the voices of the farmers telling you?
Thank you, Janet, for that. Our pastoralists are increasingly getting involved into this expo. We are in the 4th edition, and we've seen it growing. And the large part of the driving force of that growth is the interest which we are trying to generate from the pastoralists. They are increasingly finding it as a good pathway of showcasing what they have been doing and their potentials of participation in the economic activity of this country. So, and we will keep on encouraging them to play active role. If we could go a little bit on that, I think we've been directed by our PSCS to make sure that now, as the National Livestock Development and Promotion Service, we've been directed to partner in a deeper way with the national group and the other organizers of this event, so that we will put in more resources in the next edition of the Meat Expo, which we would wish to get a regional and, if possible, global version. And as we do all this, the pastoralists will be at the center of it. With now government putting more resources than they have been doing now trying to support NTV, whom we appreciate so much for this effort. Now we will be able now to mobilize even more Kenyans and deliberately the pastorists to come and assert their rightful role in this process.
I like that. There's a question on leather that made me think of now the sustainability of how we use our livestock. Ideally, if you're slaughtering an animal, it should be used through and through, head to toe, right? Every bit is used. Head to head to hoof. Head to hoof. And then, of course, then the leather, you know, the hide can be used for leather. You're eating the innards, not just the meat. But are Kenyans wasteful in our consumption of livestock, one? And then two, how can we plug those gaps to make sure that, yes, we are using the animal as sustainably as possible?
Yeah, a good one. And if I go straight to the leather, there's a story, it hit me hard last December. As usual as Kenyans, we all trooped to our villages, and that goat you were given by grandmother now is ready for slaughter.
Yes.
I slaughtered it, and the part of the skin now usually is supposed to be sold.
Right.
The guy who came to pick my skin was offering me 20 shillings. Now instead,
for the whole skin.
For the whole skin. Now, instead of just giving it to this guy, I chose to that day my dogs to feel happy about this thing. The reason I bring that story, it is to show exactly what is happening in the hides and skin industry. Yet, the same skin, if I processed it to a full leather product, actually in some countries, it fetches more than the price of the whole goat. The gold,
true.
True. If you had value,
a small leather handbag,
it becomes more
in the tens of thousands.
Yeah, more than the goat meat itself. So now, what is the government doing to address these huge wastages, you say it, and we convert that quickly into a serious economic activity, so that we stop importing these leather jackets, these leather shoes, and you can name it, all the leather products.
Right.
One way is to restructure and reorganize the livestock industry. And one way of public investment of restructuring, you must have heard of the Kenani Leather Industrial Park.
Yep.
That way, the Kenani Industrial Park, a leather industrial park, is coming to give now the owners or the producers of these hides a public supported tanning environment where the Kenyan hides and skin producer will find a pathway for this hide and skin, so that this exploitation by these middlemen collecting it out there comes to an end, and also help us to stabilize the private sector as well, because I could mention that the leather tanning process in the country now, they are dominated by about 3 tanneries, and that's again has its own challenges. It tendency toward monopolies. So we have to bring in a player who can moderate the space, so that it gives everybody who has the energy to go in there and the interest and the passion to get space and run with it. Otherwise, it's a space which has massive potential, and as well, we have to go there and unlock these potentials for the benefit of the country, and yeah.
I like that. But you've spoken very well about the leather. I'm wondering if there's any other wastage that happens as far as the animals are concerned at the point of slaughter, because, yeah, I think a lot of us eat meat like just the meat.
Let's actually talk about
even organs,
one animal,
offals. Yes.
list the products that
that can come out. That's a great way to look at
let's
it.
Let's do what? Cow, goat?
Let's talk of a cow.
Okay.
Yes. From a cow, you get milk. You get meat, you get the hide, you get blood, you get the bones. If only we could deal with that fast.
The horns.
Yes.
Yeah, the horns.
Oh, yeah, the horns as well. Yeah.
The horns, they have myriad of opportunities. Ornamentos. By the way, so many ornamentos you are buying out, they are very expensively. They are from a horn. But it has been processed in such a way that you will not tell this is a horn. Like these things many of us put in
the rings.
The rings. Some of them have those
bracelets.
horns. Yeah, bracelets. They have horns in them.
True.
But
Some
you won't tell.
buttons.
You won't tell. So some of those nice artifacts you put in your house, they are made from horns, but you won't tell.
Right.
Due to the processing. So basically, when you go out there, the counties and even much of these abattoirs, the horn largely is thrown away.
Yep.
That is another opportunity which we could just go in there and educate our people, add capacity,
Right.
so that they appreciate the value of the horns. Coming to the blood, again, is a huge additive on animal feed production. Yeah. It's a huge additive on animal feed production. So, and much of the blood we are getting from the abattoirs largely is wasted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anyone who is processing blood?
Yeah.
Are
Yeah,
there,
okay.
like in this country, where it's they go to abattoirs and they say, once you're slaughtering, collect, and I will come and purchase the blood.
At least KMC, they do that. The blood they produce, they don't throw it away.
Okay.
They process it and they sell it to the animal feed manufacturers.
Okay.
They are not wasting it.
Yeah.
But it's only KMC and a few other abattoirs.
Or,
And that is a drop in the ocean.
okay.
So much needs to be done out there.
Yeah.
But also the meat itself. In the slaughter slabs in the sub-counties, you find if they slaughter a cow, for example, the local economy might not be able to consume that cow in 1 or 2 days. But there is no preservation systems to keep that meat longer. The net effect is almost close to half of that meat is either used in the wrong way just to finish it or goes to waste because of lack of preservation.
Is it also a perception gap? Maybe there just needs to be more information sharing, because when I think about the blood, for example, I don't know that it's something that I would think of often.
Right.
Maybe there's
Think of
just
it as waste.
It's I'm just like, I don't need it. So maybe there's just an education of how the different parts of
Or the
livestock,
development of that industry.
of the development of that industry.
The animal feeds industry also seeing that this can be an ingredient
Right.
in that, because then after that, you see, you create demand.
That's true.
Great.
So once you create demand, then you can.
The rest will follow.
The rest of I wanted to speak to regulatory gaps, the persistent gaps in regulation that you have observed, and what some of the ideas around reforms for it. And by regulation, maybe just by my basic understanding of meat is as a consumer, the misconceptions around if this meat isn't found in this place in this way, I don't want to consume it, it's harmful to me. That's at one level. But just regulation across the ecosystem, what do you see as a persistent gap there?
There is a huge gap there in terms of regulation. And that's one of the space the state corporation is addressing, and more so in the livestock marketing regulation. To give you a snapshot, is our businessmen and women, when they are trying to occupy the meat export market, they are really being exploited. There is a huge demand of our meat products in the Middle East. And we have got very disturbing reports where our traders, they supply their products and they are not paid back. They are not paid for their investment. Others, like early this year, a whole plane of goat meat was contained in a country in the Middle East just because it was not packaged the right way. We are now seeing foreigners coming to buy the goats in the villages somewhere in Narok, as opposed to Kenyan worship should be occupying this space. Right. All those issues I'm bringing in here are leading to a regulatory gap.
Yeah.
And it's the streamlining of the marketing systems which will help us to address this. Now, what are we doing as government? Offering leadership in that space, because we are not the only one who should participate, occupy it. We have been engaging with there is an organized team of Kenyans who are exporting the meat to everywhere in the world, but largely the Middle East. So we've been engaging with them, and we have got their concerns. Now, at the next stage, we want to go and we want to fast track this very fast, is to agree to getting some regulatory framework which will guide how meat exports in this country are being handled. And we will go to the next level where we are also engaging our partner, our sister state corporations like Keproba and others, who are charged with the global exports of the Kenya products and branding, so that we engage with our embassies all over the country, all over the world, so that we make efforts on going to government engagements, so that our traders and products are not mishandled when they go to those countries. Because these are gaps we are seeing every day, and we can fill them quickly, and we are now addressing it.
I'm wondering how we got there. When large-scale exports began, were there just simply no regulation? It was just, I found someone who wants to buy my meat, I am sending it there. Simple as that.
Yeah, okay.
And then on the other end as well, did they not have these stringent guidelines for the quality of meat and the sourcing of meat and all of that? Was it one side or the other, or both sides? And then now we're kind of just all finding ourselves in a place where we need to streamline things.
Yeah, Kenyans, as we are known all over the world, we are very aggressive, we are outgoing. So we go out there, spot opportunities, and we still start addressing it. We have the basic regulatory, especially on the safety issues. Our veterinary department is in charge with ensuring quality of animal food, food of animal origin. So at least those have been trying to do their bit. But the space is so huge for them alone. As they put effort on the safety regulations, the size of quality regulations, that has been lagging behind.
Okay.
The regulations are about, like that guy who's coming from a foreign country and he goes out to the villages in Narok, for example, and not just Narok, in Garissa, in Samburu. And this is the space which Kenya should be doing. It's because Kenyan lacks that information that this goat is selling so much somewhere in Dubai, but somewhere somebody else from a different country I should not mention already knows the value of that goat, and he knows that goat is in Kenya. So the guy comes up to the village. First of all, they came to Nairobi. They found Nairobi was not helping them. Now they've gone to the villages. So these are things we need to tie up, and we are seeing it as it will be a start of a journey which has been lacking for a very long time to deliver the rightful return to this livestock producer, who should be supported by all means to make sure that we satisfy this growing demand of these products.
Richard, is that your job?
That's my job.
So why haven't you done it?
Yeah, good. And Latif, I started by telling you we must make deliberate investment in this area, both public and private. I will not go to the finer details, but if you take, and I know you have this information, look at the how much investments go to the livestock, which is contributing 12%, by the way, with that leaf service in terms of support. If only you did more investment, you know that 12% is coming from this goat of your grandmother, which goes by itself, it brings by itself. If only you supported that grandmother with the little investment, doubling or even tripling becomes a child's play.
I think I'm seeing this. If we talked about the development of a market, of the export market just alone, one, it's the job of government at least to create awareness and sensitize the farmer, the livestock farmer, that there is a market out there. And this is what the market is demanding in terms of quality of meat. Because one of the big things, and you mentioned here, is the quality. What is it that the market calls quality? And the issues about traceability and all. And I know at some point we'll talk about the drive that had a huge furor in the country about vaccinating their livestock. Quality. And then the second thing is to know where is the market. And that's why we have embassies all over, so they can go and open up markets for us. And your office should be working with those embassies to open up the markets, to negotiate in other places. So even by the time now Mariam goes and supports her grandmother, so that the goats that she's rearing are actually for commercial purposes, the grandmother should be seeing the value and the end. Your job is to put that light at the end of that tunnel.
Exactly.
So how much of that have you done so far?
Using what is available on my table, I have tried and my team to do what is practically possible. And largely is about the education bit. putting out that information and how I can put it with the limited resources at my disposal. So I have to use a lot of proxies to achieve that. And largely, we are targeting these organized community groups. And as a big mandate for this state corporation is organizing these pastorists or livestock producers into farmer group organizations or cooperatives, what is largely known in Kenya, so that through this cooperative, it becomes a very powerful pathway for delivery of information through capacity building, but also, professional information is part of capacity building, but information alone will play its part. But there is the dynamics or the aspects, the mechanics of making sure that that quality animal required somewhere in EU, UAE, in Qatar, in all these countries is ultimately delivered there. The animal has to be vaccinated. The animal must be traceable. The animal must be dewormed. There are those aspects. And what kind of breed are they preferring? There must be that deliberate. I keep on coming back there because that's where we shall unlock it. Deliberate investment.
So you need more support.
Exactly.
So that your department is able to do a lot more of this.
Yes, sure.
There are very many pastoralist MPs. In fact, they even have a caucus in Parliament. Do they know about your work? Do they lobby for you so that you can get more budgetary allocation? So that then you can have more capacity to look for markets and to talk to the farmers?
Currently they are quite energized. They are putting their best foot forward. But, we have not reached where we want to go, but at least the journey is gaining pace as we move. I must give credit to them because they have been behind the strong push for the establishment of this state corporation, because they could see there is a gap there, and they have really done a good job trying to push it, although it has taken a while, because the push has taken almost over 10 years to do this, but now at least it's in the space, and we are planning.
How long has the state corporation been in existence?
Okay, a good one again. We are less than 1 year old.
Oh, wow.
You knew. Why did it take so long?
That's a very young state corporation. But good to hear that at least we're getting somewhere even within that time. Then hopefully when we compound 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, this impact will be seen. But some of the things that you've spoken to as far as traceability, the quality of meat, preferred breeds, looking into all of that, it sounds like it's more geared towards export, but I feel like local consumers also deserve the same as far as, traceability, quality, all of that. So it's always, and because the countries that we export to will enforce those standards, that then meat that is not of that quality will not get there. But what happens for local consumers?
Can you pause there?
Yeah, sure, please.
Hold that thought, because there's several more questions we'd really like to run by you. Again, this is such a critical conversation, and we're getting a lot of insights. Again, we are with the CEO for the National Livestock Development and Promotion Services, Richard Kyuma. Do you have any questions as well? I really like that question of local consumers, because this also just speaks to a lot of the people who are watching and lending, speaks to us.
It's me.
I was going to be like lovers of meat.
It's me. I am local consumer.
And then I'm curious to ask him as well, these words like ethical and sustainable, you know, what you were talking about earlier, whether he has to also think of that and what it looks like. We are live at KICC, the Kenya Meat Expo, the 4th edition, having these conversations. We'll also be speaking to more stakeholders in the ecosystem in just a bit. It's coming up to 8 a.m. We'll be right back.